to 14. Jalen Wordley, Caleb Clark, and Mason McConaughey from Husker Baseball will be there to sign autographs and talk to the youth. Tryouts start on July 14th at 6 p.m. Learn more at LincolnProdigyBaseball.com.
Highball Bar in downtown Lincoln is open and located just north of 11th and O Street. Highball Bar offers a vibe and atmosphere like no other, making it the perfect place to grab a drink or beverage. Highball Bar features great events such as Karaoke Sunday, $4 Tito's on Mondays, Jack Daniel's specials on Wednesdays, and much more. Make Highball Bar your go-to spot after a hard day at work or on the weekend. Highball Bar, located at 122 North 11th Street in downtown Lincoln.
You already know that Select Plumbing takes care of all your plumbing needs, including water heaters, faucet repairs, leaks, drips, sump pumps, and more. Now, they're able to help you with your heating and air conditioning as well. Select Plumbing has recently expanded into residential heating and air, and they're excited to bring this new service to their complete list of plumbing services. Call to book an appointment today at 402-560-6197 or go to selectplumbinginc.com. Serving Lincoln, Seward, Milford, and the surrounding areas.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you or someone you love struggling with substance use? The Bridge Behavioral Health in Lincoln offers outpatient therapy for those 19 and over. The Bridge is conveniently located in the South Haymarket and near city bus lines. With payment options through insurance and a sliding fee scale, services are available for any adult 19 and over seeking help. Call 402-477-3951 to learn more or schedule your appointment today. The Bridge Behavioral Health is a local substance use treatment facility offering hope and a solid foundation for recovery through substance use treatment and behavioral health interventions.
Are you looking to upgrade your farm equipment? You're in luck. Acres, your premier John Deere dealer, recently dropped its prices on select late model tractors, combines, planters, and sprayers. Trade in your old equipment today and get never-before-seen discounts that can save you over $100,000. With great financing options and our A-plus support, there's no better time to upgrade. Visit your local Acres store or see the huge savings at acres.com. That's AKRS.com to see the best prices in the nation.
Vershawn Jackson, the captain here for The Body Shop. And man, did they hook me up with a great massage recently. The captain has a lot of stress in his life, as many people do. And for 1 hour, it was all relief. The team at The Body Shop gave me a deep tissue massage that hit every area that I was in pain at. Whether you're looking for a Swedish massage, sports massage, deep tissue, hot stone, aroma, or more, there's only one place to go. The Body Shop at 48th NA. Book an appointment today at thebodyshoplincoln.com.
Hey, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. It's official. Wedding season is here. And we know that every detail counts. From bridal party gifts to the finishing touches for the bride and groom, discover our exclusive selection of watches and fine jewelry. Did you know we even offer in-house engraving? Celebrate your special day with a personal touch and a timeless gift they'll cherish forever. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives. Husker fans, the 2024 Nebraska football season is right around the corner, and they need your support in Memorial Stadium this fall. You can now purchase a Husker football 3-game mini plan for only $170. This plan includes tickets to the UTEP or Northern Iowa, plus Illinois or Rutgers, and either UCLA or Wisconsin games. Tickets are only available while supplies last. To purchase your Husker football 3-game mini plan today, or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets. Go Big Red.
Take your internet service to new levels with Allo, your award-winning internet provider across our fiber hoods. Allo isn't just about the fastest internet available. It's about connecting you to your world, work, and play seamlessly. Our award-winning service ensures affordable, secure, and reliable connectivity, setting us apart. Ready to transform your internet experience? Experience the fiber difference today. Sign up now at allofiber.com. Allo, connecting your world.
You can get diesel anywhere, but what about atomic diesel? That comes from Stern. Atomic diesel is your solution to all your cold weather problems. Prevent clogged fuel filters, increase your fuel economy, and save money with Atomic Diesel. Contact Roger at Stern today by calling 1-800-477-2744 to see how Atomic Diesel and the rest of their line of fuels and lubricants can keep your operation running at max capacity.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations, now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? Feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios at 1040 O Street.
It's time to go one-on-one with DP. Coming at you live from the Koppel Chevrolet GMC studios. Here is your host, Derek Pearson. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome into Tick Weeknights. Once again, Harrison Arns behind the board as always come 6 o'clock on a weeknight. If you guys want to join the show, feel free to use the Starter Heyman text line. We got the Royals on the airwaves, but who knows, with the weather rolling through, that one might get delayed, and we might be back live here before we know it. But like I said, you can still use the text line. That's 402-464-5685. If you want to put a face to the voice, good way to do so. You can use Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, Allo, channel 961. But let's bring them in, as always, come Wednesdays. No DP, but Harrison North filling in here. And we do got Dave Turcotte, the former national Canadian men's basketball guy who got to cover Jordan. We talked about that plenty. But Turcotte, how's it going on this Wednesday?
It's going awesome. Great to be here in Vegas now, getting ready for Canada, USA tonight. Going to be a great game. Really excited to be here. And it happens to be my birthday today, too. So that means, obviously, Canada is going to deliver a win.
Absolutely. Well, happy birthday, and hopefully Canada can hold up their end of the deal. But before we dive into the topics, just what are the sights and scenes like down there? Like, what is Summer League really like? It feels like a lot of meetings, a lot of scouting going on, coaches having some conversations. What's the vibe like down there?
Yeah, it's a lot of that. There's a lot of activity around all things around the league and the NBA. This is a real exciting time because, you know, I could not believe this game tonight is sold out. And of course, everybody that's in the game tonight is they're all all-stars or significant players on their teams. Team USA obviously is a team full of Hall of Famers probably, but there's also all the activity around the league because the summer league's always going on. There's always player discussions. Everyone's talking about who's trading to who. So there's a ton of great basketball energy. You know, Vegas, got to give Vegas credit, pulled an NFL franchise, all the thing that's happening with betting and sports. They've always been their own kind of sports town. And it just feels explosive, the amount of basketball energy going on down here in Vegas. It's a great environment to be going to a game in, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I will say Vegas does a great job. They embrace just about any franchise down there. They do a good job with the women's pro team down there as well. Vegas gives them a lot of credit what they've done just for basketball in general, and obviously they're killing it now with the Golden Knights. They're in the NHL market, into the football market as well. But yeah, I mean, what are you really excited about when you're watching these summer league games? What's your take on it? Are you scouting these guys? Are you seeing which ones click? Because it's weird. These guys, some of them are playing for a potential spot. They're kind of on the fringe of making it into the league. What are you looking for when you're watching these guys try to put it together in such a short window?
Yeah, you know what I love looking for is I like looking for the diamond near the rough or the kids that's going to shock you. I think and by the way, on the same token, in reverse, there's always that lottery pick or that great rookie that is expected to do so much and kind of goes the other way for whatever reason, right? And so that's the thing. Like the scouts and the player development people in the league do as great a job as you can possibly do, but there really is no measure of getting in there against, like, it's a whole other level. Even people in this level, every single player that's playing on an NBA franchise was the very best player on his Division I college basketball team, right? Probably everyone's an all conference player on their college team. Mm-hmm. So these are all great players that are, the speed of the game goes up, the athleticism goes up, how quickly decision making has to be made and goes up. And so you start to see separation where some guys cruise into it and they just fit right in and they go great. And other guys kind of, you can see that they struggle, that have maybe a lot of hype coming in. So I like to see those partial small steps that you get to see a player stepping into the role of being a pro and seeing who shines and who doesn't, who responds and who surprises you. Mm-hmm. And that's the best thing about Summer League for me is, hey, like there's all kinds of kids that come in and play and they think, oh, he'd never make it in the league or he can't play. And the next thing you know, they're having a great Summer League. And you love it, like as a young player, and I've had coaches say this to me back in my day. I want to be the kind of player that makes the coach's job really, really hard. If they're going to cut me or they're going to think about it, man, it's going to be tough and it's going to be gut wrenching because you do things to surprise coaching and scouts and the people that are there. So I like watching for those moments. That's the best thing, to see a young person have a great opportunity to change their lives and change their families' lives. And see those moments kind of percolate out through the process of the summer leagues here. It's a great thing to see.
Yeah, and when you mentioned that, the one team that comes to mind, just because top to bottom, I mean, they had a bunch of players. It was really one of the times in recent years where the Lakers felt like they nailed it. The Alonzo Ball takeover for Summer League. All the hype in the world. I don't even think he played the last game and still got Summer League MVP out of it. Right. But it was also, you see this guy, Kyle Kuzma, even though he wasn't nearly talked about, had a great Summer League. And then Josh Hart, he shows some things that you're kind of talking about, the rebounding, the defense, the hustle. That really makes your way, and it shows up to scouts. I mean, certainly helped Josh Hart out in his case. But how much confidence can you put on these Summer League games? When you see these great runs, I mean, that seems like the tricky part for it, because these Summer League MVPs typically doesn't pan out in the NBA as consistently as you might expect.
Yeah, I mean, the signed veteran players are not here, right? They're not playing. And so really, that's the thing. On every one of these teams, it would be shocking to have more than one or two players actually make the roster. And it depends. Like I know, like with Utah and their summer league team now, back in what we used to call the Rocky Mountain Review, but back, there's 2 or 3 Utah players actually playing, trying to get minutes because they don't get a lot of minutes during the year. So every franchise is different. Utah's not in the top 6 in their division in the league, but any of the teams that are consistently in the top 6, top 8 playoff teams, they've got 7, 8 guys on the roster. They don't want to come here and get hurt, right? So with the exception of what Team USA is doing and putting those veteran all-star MVP level players on the court because of the Olympics, most of that level of player is not going to show. So that's why I'm saying you're looking for that shocking surprise, right? You're going to see that guy like, holy crap, this guy came out of nowhere. No one thought he'd be a guy for a roster spot, and maybe he will. In fact, there's one kid I was kind of laughing about. He made all the Sports Center highlights. I forget, kid, great shooter. Everyone said, oh, he's not going to make the league, and come out and start stroking a few threes. And all of a sudden it's like, hey, wait a minute, this guy can make threes in this league, And so there's all kinds of fun things like that are happening. And I really like it. So it's a lot of fun. And I think too, what you also get to see a lot of what I call on the cusp players that are on the roster and playing well, but they need a few minutes where they can be the man and they can be ball dominant to get better in their game.
I'll give you one for an example while you're talking about it. Bryce McGowan's the former Husker, been killing it for the Charlotte Hornets, and he's obviously not a rookie, but getting a good run for him.
And that's where a lot of times it's like the league is so hard to get those. It's hard to get opportunities to make a team. Once you make a team, it's hard to get opportunities. Think about it. For every team in the league, there's only really 30 to 35 new players a year, right? That's off and there's only about 5 of those that are off the radar. Like, where'd this guy come from? Right, that you'd find from here. So think about that. Like, there's tens of thousands of players in the world right now that are working every day of their lives to get a chance to play in the league. and between 5 and 10 of them are going to make the league. Okay. So that's kind of where you get a sense of watching these kids rise. But that's the best part. The best part is, you know, you never want to see people get hurt. You never want to see people have bad things happen. But at the same time, it's the greatest thing in the world to see some kid come out of nowhere, man or woman, come out of nowhere and just all of a sudden shock the world and show some stuff that, you know, when you play, like when you play in college, for example, like in my case, we played college basketball. Yeah, we led the nation in defense in my senior year in college, Division I college basketball, but we also only scored 55 points a game. So because we did a lot of possession control, because we had a coach that played a very particular style. So you say, well, gosh, you're only scoring 15, 16, 17 points a game. Yeah, that's still 30% of our offense. You know, like we're shooting high percentages. We're just not taking. Now, if we're scoring 77, 80 points a game, well, I'm scoring 22, 23 a game and leading the nation in scoring almost, right? So, and I'm not saying that as a complaint. I'm just saying as an example that there are a lot of players that are coming into the summer league. It's the first time the handcuffs are off and they're like, okay, I just get to go be me. And it's my time to shine. And because the NBA is much more about individual ability to create shots, individual ability to rebound. So they're evaluating you on very NBA specific skills. Number one of which is creating your own shot, creating shots for other, defending at the rim, right? If, you know, you can do one of those three things really, really well, people are going to notice here, and that's a great thing to see. And that's where I mean that shocking surprise comes from. It's awesome.
Well, let's talk about one of the guys that kind of surprising. I'm happy the Grizzlies got him because the fit couldn't be any better. Obviously, you're going to see him up for Team Canada, Zach Edey. Grizzlies have been killing it in the draft. They've done a pretty good job through these recent years. And Zach Edey, he just feels like a guy that even if he needs a little bit of time to develop, you're still going to probably find 10, 15 minutes out there on the court where at that size, you don't need him to do what he did at Purdue. He doesn't need to be the focal point. He's clearly a rim protector. He makes that clutch play at the end versus Jazz, even though they lose it, gets that tip in to center to OT. I mean, what do you see out of Zach Edey? He's been killing.
But that's exactly. If you remember last time we talked, I mean, Harrison, you bring up a great point. Like, look, he doesn't have to be an all-star. Mm-hmm. But how about Zach Edey? Okay, I'll give you an example. In fact, Utah, he's playing against Walker Kessler. He's playing against the guy that starts in the NBA. Okay, he's not playing against some scrub, you know. And so, and another guy that is also 7'1" and long and the whole thing. But like we talked about before, you cannot prevent Zach Edey from getting any spot on the floor that he wants. So is he a polished, you know, offensive finisher? No. But can he exactly do it? And I think he wound up with like 12. I think he had 8 or 9 points at one point when I looked at it early on.
Stats real quick. It was a good night for him.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, if Zach Edey is not a starter, but he's your 6, 7, 8, and you say, hey, we're you know, like think about it. We're playing against the Sixers and Joel Embiid. We're playing against San Antonio, who's got Wemby. Like even Wemby will struggle as gifted as he is. I'll tell you right, Wemby does not want to see a 320-pound guy that can move. And by the way, Zach Edey looks pretty good. It looks like he's leaned up and he's been training, moving a little bit better. But still, he's going to go in there and have 100 pounds on Wemby, right? So how even if Wemby gets in tight, you put a body on a skinny guy, he can't jump, right? All that length and athletic ability doesn't matter when someone's got their 300-pound ass leaning against you. Okay, so I'm saying like he's not going to be an all-star. He's not going to be, but you know, this huge contributor out of the gate. But I'll tell you right now, do you think that guy could give you 15 to 16 minutes a game that are high quality minutes that draw a couple of fouls on post players? Like if whoever's guarding Zach Edey, if he just turns and tries to dunk it every time, the ref's going to be forced to make a decision on a foul. So maybe he's great at getting a starter 4 or 5 player into foul trouble. You know, little things like that. So if I was strategically playing him, like last minute, exactly like you saw in that play, right?
Yep.
Last minute of the game, we got to get a shot up. We're down 1. We need a tie. You need someone that can get to the rim no matter what, and anything around the rim, he can get a hand on it before anybody else. It's a lot easier to move your hand and tip than having to jump 36 inches, 40 inches to get a tip, right? You're already there. So I think he's going to contribute. I think he's showing well. You know, there are some things to work on for sure. Obviously, everybody brings up pick and roll, guarding the ball player, showing hard, showing his chest, showing his numbers, getting back and avoiding a lob over the top. But that's not going to be a reason why he's not going to be a great 6th or 7th man for a team to come in and give someone a real problem dealing with him up front. So I think it's going to be a real exciting time to watch him play.
Yeah, and the defense too. Like I'm not saying by no means I'm not projecting that he will be the next Jokic, but Jokic had the same concerns. Defensively, he was a net negative for early on in his career. It wasn't until later he really found more about the footwork than it was the pure athleticism, why he was failing on so many of those pick and rolls. And he got it figured out. And now he's no longer a liability. But his stats for Zach Edey, and it makes me laugh too, because I read these and I remember looking through a lot of these NBA, they grade these drafts. The ceiling was low on Zach Edey. For whatever reason, you're getting a lot of C's. I think I even saw one, they gave it a D for drafting Zach Edey at that 9 spot. But he was 7 for 12, 14 points, 15 rebounds. High efficiency, double-double. I mean, that's that you could.
Okay, by the way, and if he was Angel Reese, it'd be all over the social media right now with that. He's the double-double guy. By the way, I was laughing at someone who said, that's a new stat that didn't exist 10 years ago. Nobody kept track of double-doubles. Lots of big men get double-doubles, right? But the reality is, though, but that's a perfect look at his game in the sense, think about, again, not a starter, but think about him as a 6th, 7th man in a rotation, right? He's going to come in an 18 to 20 minutes. He'll go 6 for 8, 6 for 9. He's going to shoot an incredibly high percentage. But I will tell you, the one thing that people forget about watching him play at Purdue, Zach Edey never played one-on-one in his entire career. The teams could not play him one-on-one. So he was double-teamed, triple-teamed, forced to pass out. I don't care who you are. Size is size. He's going to be bigger and longer. He's always going to be able to get that little jump hook off from near the basket. So he's going to be able to score and cause problems. But exactly that, 15 rebounds. When you're down there and collecting that space defensively, he's going to dominate on the rebounding side alone. There are guys, if they said he's never going to score a point, but he'll get you 12 to 15 rebounds a game, like Dennis Rodman, you would keep him just for that. He's not Dennis Rodman either. We always got to say that. But the reality is that I think he's going to do better than he thought. I think the Memphis guys were great for drafting him. And I think a lot of people just, they like to think of the game going down a certain road in terms of a more up-tempo, more three-pointers, more flow, more cutting, more moving. All that stuff is true. But in the NBA, you got to do everything. There's no such thing as a part of the game that any team can afford not to master. So if they're playing crazy up-tempo, small guards, and that's the way it's at, well, if they can't get an advantage with Zach, great. They'll sit him and they'll play other guys, because in the next game, they're going to have somebody that they deal with on the inside. So you've got to have that player that you can pull out your toolkit, and Zach Edey is going to be someone that other teams are going to have to answer for. And it'll be fun to watch him grow, where he really gets to develop more as an individual now, where before in the college game, you're forced to play in a certain way because the rules don't allow someone your size to just dominate the way he would have if he was just playing one-on-one.
Yeah, and the other thing I'll give him some credit for, and why I think his ceiling is even higher than what people might think it is the playmaking at Purdue. I mean, you mentioned it. He's constantly getting double teamed. I mean, he was constantly the playmaker of that offense because he had to be. I mean, it ran through him through most of the season. Not just one season, one of the most accoladed players to come out of college. I mean, he's been operating at Purdue at a high level for a long time. So his playmaking ability, I think that's another thing that maybe gets missed. But yeah, it just feels like how quick we are to forget about the Yao Mings of the world. And it feels like today we're in this notion that Yao Ming, as great as he was, wouldn't be able to play in today's game, which is just completely false. So I think the Zach Edey's, those bigs, we're getting more towards that era. And like you said, 15 minutes, you're going to be able to find space out where he can be a mismatch problem. One more guy I want to talk to before I go to break, though. Keisei Tominaga. Got to talk about the former Husker. I love the team. He gets signed by the Pacers. I feel like could not have been a better fit because they got some size in Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam, where if they need to, kind of in the Zach Edey situation, if there's a matchup out there, maybe get him out there, get him some runs, and he's got some help inside near the rim. What is a guy like Keisei, who's an electric three-point shooter, underrated? He's pretty good around the trees, good tricky around finishing around the glass, but clearly it's going to be the defense. What does a guy like that have to do to solidify a role?
Well, exactly that. But I'll tell you right now, you got to love the Pacers, man. They all made it to the Eastern Coastal Finals. Halliburton, love his game. Obviously, got a big shout out to our boy Nemhart, who's a Canadian that's made the Olympic team for Canada that'll be playing tonight. He's with the Pacers as well. He showed great. He's a warrior that battled. So I think there's a couple things. There were guys last year with the Pacers that I think they matured beyond rookie young team status. You're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. You're playing for real. So there's a lot of good leadership around him. The great thing for him as a shooter and a defender is he doesn't have to be going out there scoring 20, 25 points a game. So a guy like that, I think he's a phenomenal opportunity because you get to come in there and saying, hey, you're going to get your 8 to 15 minutes a game as a rookie, and you're playing with all these great players. They're going to, if they know you can stroke it, you're going to get the ball in the right places. You're going to get opportunities to finish. And when he comes in the game, he's not going to be the number one scoring option. He's going to be the number 3. So he's not going to get the best defender. People are going to help off of him. And so I think you're going to see opportunities to score a lot of times like that. There's a huge difference between being option 1, option 2, and option 3. Option 1 and you're scoring, you're an NBA All-Star. You're unstoppable. Option 2, you're darn good and you're almost there. And as not a guy being option 2, option 3, and having great players around him, he's always going to be in situations where he's going to be a pressure release and have a lot of playmaking ability where people are trying to focus on the great players that are on his team. So he's got a lot of help, a lot of leadership with him. He's going to have a great opportunity to get out there and play.
Yeah, that's a great point too. Because I mean, you watch K-State in the Big Ten or even those non-con games in college. The breathing room was limited, to say the very least. People were very aware of the damage he could do. In the NBA, you're absolutely right. And then, again, you get a guy in Tyrese Halliburton, especially if he continues this growth. I mean, he's been incredibly impressive with the Pacers. I mean, from kind of getting, I don't want to say mistreated, but a tough situation with the Sacramento Kings because he clearly liked that roster. He's done a great job. And now the Pacers are one of those teams in the East where, who knows? They might be up there with the Bucks next season if they keep growing the way they are. So, with that being said, we're going to go to break here. But on the other side, we're going to dive in to some of these national teams. For Team Canada and Team USA, we got Dave Turcotte one-on-one with Harrison Arns in the absence of DP. Don't go anywhere. We'll keep it rolling in just a little bit.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Without a strong IT partner, your business ends up overspending, underperforming, wearing too many hats, complicating your work, and more. Applied Connective Technologies can help with experts in every facet of technology. If it plugs in, powers on, or charges up, they're your people. Imagine being able to call one team for all your technology solutions rather than a village of vendors and providers. For all your needs in managed IT and cybersecurity, phone systems, physical security, infrastructure, and audio or video, head to appliedconnective.com to better your business today. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just the professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Electrical Enterprises in Roca reminds you, the men and women of our military dedicate themselves to serving our country. Their commitment and courage keep our country safe and strong. Let us honor those who have lost their lives in the line of duty and salute those serving today. This from Electrical Enterprises in Roca. For all your residential and commercial electrical construction needs, call 402-438-5822. We live in the land of the free, thanks to the brave.
Gaina Trucking is hiring for heavy equipment operators and a heavy equipment mechanic. Working at Gaina Trucking is a great career with excellent team culture, with benefits package including competitive pay based on experience, health, vision, and dental insurance, and a 401k plan. If you're looking for a new job as a heavy equipment operator or mechanic, apply online at GainaTrucking.com or call 402-794-5000. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career? Or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Hey, Nebraska! Register today for the 40th annual Cornhusker State Games, taking place July 11th through the 21st in Lincoln, Omaha, and other Nebraska communities. The Cornhusker State Games features 70 sports for athletes of all ages and abilities. Price increases are approaching, so register early and save. For details, go to cornhuskerstategames.com. Special thanks to Platinum Partner Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, delivering dependable insurance coverage for your auto, farm, and home for over 130 years. Farmers Mutual of Nebraska, always alongside you.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, sponsored by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into One-on-One with Harrison Arns and Dave Turcotte in the absence of DP, as he's also down there getting some summer league in there. But if you guys want to join in the show, we still got Royals on the airwaves for the Starter Heyman text line still open to you. 402-464-5685. Always a great way to join in. And a face to the voice, use the streams. On the other side here, I kind of teased it before we went to break, but since we got the former national Canadian team member, Dave Turcotte, on here with us, I'll give you the floor. Which one of these national teams do you want to start talking about first, with Team Canada or Team USA?
Well, we'll start with Team USA. We'll leave the best for last. How about that?
Okay, easy there. We're still
easy. You know what? I love Team USA. I really do. It's a great roster. I do feel like, I think, remember we talked last time, we talked about how the game is all about flow. The only criticism I'm going to have, or the only hedge I'm going to have with Team USA, obviously they're the favorite. They've got the best players and individual players in the world, except for a couple that are probably Team Canada's got a couple, and others have some great players that are truly elite. Like, Spain's got good players, but nobody that you would say is truly elite, like NBA All-Star MVP level, but all NBA players. But Canada and USA are a little bit ahead in terms of what you'd look at on paper for a lot of these teams, but a lot of these teams are great. Greece has Giannis, but then that's really it, right?
Yep.
So looking at Team USA, what I love about it in terms of their preparation is that, the international game is different. Like we talked this before, they've got more like college rules for defending. You can defend, you can double team, you can play zones, you can hedge in ways you can't hedge in the NBA. It's pure basketball in its purest form. It's not the entertainment product that the NBA is. But the NBA players are just phenomenal. And I think the most fearsome group of players to put on the floor at the same time would be Steph Curry with Kevin Durant, with LeBron, and then, distributing. And then you throw in a Tyrese Halliburton. And you got three guys there that are going to shoot 50% or better from the three-point line. And all of those guys play really well without the ball, And so the normal criticism, so Team USA that lost with Anthony Edwards, Towns, and the players that they had, still all-stars, every one of them as well, but they didn't know how to flow. They didn't know how to they didn't know how to play well to each other. They didn't have as much chemistry. So the only thing, and that's why Canada is playing the USA, and the USA is doing these 3 or 4 games in the States before they go over, is try to develop that connective tissue, that trust, just getting to know each other a little bit. So they all know how to play. They're phenomenal. And I'll tell you that's a fearsome 3 or 4 guys where, if they get going, like if Steph gets going or, Halliburton, these are guys that can make 3, 4, 5 threes in a row. And the fact that any one or all of them could erupt at any one time, it's got, there's just, it gets to a point where it's just not defendable anymore. Like the court, you have to literally pick them up baseline to baseline and guard people the second they cross half court. Like it's ridiculous, right? Yeah. So it's going to be, it's a fun thing. But I do think like Canada is a perfect example of a team that we can cause people problems and we'll cause them problems. And it'll be fun to watch how that plays out tonight, So I still think Team USA is the favorite, no question. But, and believe it or not, as great as LeBron can pass and make plays, I've told this to people several times. They all look at me like I'm crazy, but I would like to see one more pure catch and shoot shooter like Klay Thompson or a younger version of Klay Thompson. Like I know Klay's not Klay of 6 years ago, but that kind of guy that can literally just cut and move and never dribble the ball once and just catch and let a 3 go at the blink of an eye. That's the player that the only weak spot I see in the roster that's not really there. Like Halliburton has a long kind of setup shot. Yeah. He's not that guy. Steph is that guy. Steph can let it go, but he's going to be handling the ball a lot, right? So, it's pretty exciting time to watch these guys play. But, I'd like to see more of it. But, man, USA is going to be tough. They're going to be great.
I was going to ask you, talking about three-point shooters, does Derek White move the needle? He did get picked up.
He does. I actually think that's great. I was not a fan of Kawhi Leonard on this team. As great as Kawhi is, his game, like you got to look think about it this way. What makes these teams makes it harder to play these games are guys that are really ball dominant players. If you're a player that has to have the ball constantly dribbling and it's got to all go through you, you'd struggle on this team. And Kawhi's not like that in terms of a selfish player. He's not like that at all. He's a great player. But Kawhi's game is, that elbow jumper. He can make threes, but it's not his strength. And that mid-range games, his mid-range game is a very guardable game for an international player playing in an Olympic kind of format, right? Because the way that you could defend him. So I thought Derek White, I told you this a couple of shows ago, I thought he was one of the primary reasons that the Celtics actually won the championship. Mm-hmm. And those are the guys that really make a difference. So so he's that guy that will catch and shoot threes in a big way. So he's a big add that I think I would actually prefer him on the roster than Kawhi exactly for that reason. He'll come in, he'll do one thing only. He'll have no ego. He'll just catch and let that open jumper go, and he'll facilitate for guys that are just going to be dominant. I mean, obviously, Joel Embiid is going to be a problem for everyone. But now if you put a guy like Derek White in the, so think about that rotation, right? Curry, Halliburton, LeBron, Embiid, and then another shooter on the wing. How do you help?
Yeah, you're making
your only hope is that they get selfish and don't pass, and then which I doubt they'll do. So it's a great add to the lineup. I think it makes them stronger.
Yeah, I think, like you said, get some more three-point shooting in there as well. And yeah, with the Kawhi Leonard thing, to me, I like the fit. It just depends on what is his role on this roster going to be. If he's got the same mindset as Drew Holiday heading into this thing, I feel pretty good about Kawhi Leonard being there. Now, if it's the offensive, I think best version of Kawhi Leonard on this roster, just because we've gone through the offense. There's plenty of offense on there. You're going to need your defensive juggernauts, and Kawhi Leonard, he still can be that, obviously, pending on his health issues, but I think he's going to be full, ready to go here. Other than that, now with Derek White in there, you could definitely make the argument for Klay Thompson. I think he definitely helps this roster out, but I'm feeling pretty solid with this roster. Before we dive into Team Canada, I do want to ask, out of all the young guys on this roster, your Devin Bookers, your Tyrese Halliburtons, Anthony Edwards, do you expect any of these guys to have a real significant moment? Because it feels like we've lost some of that in the past. It almost used to be like a trial you'd go through and you would see these great seasons after playing for the national team. And then we hit this era where it wasn't quite as cool to play for the national team, but maybe we're getting back to that. Do you see an Anthony Edwards, Devin Booker taking what they learned on this national team and elevating their NBA roster after?
100%, because I'll tell you, guys like that are going to get exposed to how guys like Steph Curry work and how LeBron works. as good as he is, and those younger players, and they're already elite. They're on the U.S. national team, for gosh sakes, right? They're already amongst the top 20 players in the world. But, there's still a whole other level for these Hall of Fame, like a guy like LeBron and Steph Curry in particular, the daily focus and discipline that those guys have, that just every single day, relentlessly without fail. It's a whole other level that even great players don't understand. These are the greatest players of all time, right? So I think there's always a benefit to getting up with players, and as a young player, it's always ideal to be the worst player on a great team, and that every day there's like a person you can look up to and saying, I'm going to try to be better like that and emulate that. Like, even though it's a hair's breadth difference between each person, each player, you can always learn from greatness, and I think they'll all come back better players because of it. And by the way, the European international game is taking over the NBA. Like the style of play, I'm telling you, is changing. And I think Luka's a big part of that. Like I said, I always said it started with Pop and the San Antonio Spurs with Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili,
Yeah, he found the TJ Splitters of the world. That was Popovich.
There you go. And then which rolls right into how Golden State plays. Golden State and all their championship years, that's international play. That's international basketball. Cutting, moving, flowing, just playing intuitively with each other. That's international play. And I think the more that Team USA plays that, they're going to adjust to the more modern game. But and the better they adjust to that now, the more of a lock they are for the gold medal.
Yeah, well, I'll knock on wood back here at 1040 O Street. But yeah, I'm 100% with you. And also with like Anthony Edwards, even just the coaches as well, working with Steve Kerr, I'm going to get him another chance here. That's also a big part of it. What does it look like working with those great coaches? But before we wrap up this one, we've got 5 minutes here. Sell me on Team Canada. Sell me on Team Canada, why they got a real shot at about taking the gold. I mean, you got the MVP runner-up, so it's a hell of a start.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, first of all, it's with the challenge that the USA is going to have, and this is a bigger challenge. Like who's all right? The clock's winding in an NBA roster right now. If it's LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and they need a shot in the last 6 seconds, they know who's shooting the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Golden State. Everybody knows where that ball is going. So in a way, there's this sort of internal competition on every team where like who's the man, who's the lead, who's taking the last shot. It's very hard to get into that flow where because if you even hesitate or pause for a split second, that's a missed shot, that's a missed rebound. When you're unsure of, okay, I'm the one taking everyone knows the ball's coming to me, I'm taking the final shot. And that's true on offensive plays as well. So a lot of times when there's in an international play in an all-star team setting, there's always an adjustment process where everyone's relative place on the team kind of sorts out in relation to each other, right? Mm-hmm. And so that is one thing that Team Canada will not have a problem with. Team Canada's played with each other more. This is largely the exact same team that beat USA last time in the World Cup. So the first thing I can say is, well, we already beat you once already. So let's start there. And the star of that team, Anthony Edwards, is on this team now. And this is a much better team. But here's the negative there. We have all that continuity of connective tissue and trust and knowing each other last year into this year, playing together, in the last 2 to 3 weeks. I was up in Canada with the Olympic team the last couple of weeks during training camp. And, they're working hard with their friends. You could tell these guys like each other, know each other, and they relate to each other on and off the court. So I think there's a little bit more knowledge of each other, knowledge of themselves as teammates. And I'll tell you right now, our point guard, there is an argument to be made, and I'll tell you this right now, Shea's going to outplay Steph in this Olympics, okay? Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is the best, most complete point guard in the league right now, period, the end, okay? And he can defend, and he's 6'7", long, and someone like Steph, and I say that because I watched him match up with Steph all year long. And he did great against Steph Curry because of that. So that's the first thing. Second thing is there won't be one person on Team Canada that's intimidated or afraid of the United States. Okay. And I compare to my own experience playing the Dream Team. Did I think I was ready to go and play and I was excited to play? Sure, I was. Anyone on Team Canada back in 1992 that's going to say, oh, I wasn't bothered or intimidated by the fact that every single player in every position was the greatest player ever to play that position in the history of the game of basketball, never entered my mind, not for a minute, right? Team Canada, Team USA, the gap was a little bit wider between us and the Dream Team, right? And that does affect you. And anyone that says they don't is lying. But this team, every single player on this team believes they're as good or better than everybody that's on Team USA. There is no, like, you want to tell me who's better fourth quarter finisher in the NBA than Jamal Murray? Jamal Murray is an NBA champion. Okay. And he was the guy that made the shots to beat the Lakers and LeBron, to beat Golden State, to beat, all the teams that he ran into to become an NBA champion, East and West. There isn't one player on this team that he hasn't put away in the fourth quarter. So he's not going to be bothered by anything. All right. And he's the one player that we added that was not on the world. Recall 2 years ago, he had just had the knee surgery. He was recovering, but he was still on the team. And by the way, he was traveling with the team and hanging out with the players, even though he was injured, to support the team. Okay. So between those two guys, you're going to have no shortage. Shea is averaging 30, 35 overseas. Jamal will do the same. You're not going to see games of 120 in international basketball. You're going to see games in the high 80s, low 90s, rarely over 100, unless they're blowouts because you're playing Egypt or somebody, right? But you're going to see a great game. And then you've got really athletic, long NBA players. So we're long and athletic defensive. We got Luguentz. Our Drew Holiday counterpart is Luguentz Dort from OKC. I would say Luguentz is arguably one of the most beastly defenders. I mean, I talked to the kid when we were in camp, and he's such a nice human being, by the way. But he's as defensively, and I said this to him, he's so physically strong and dense. He's the kind of player that when he steps up to guard you, in the back of your mind, you're going, oh man, this is really going to hurt. Because he's just so strong. He'll be in every step you take, bumping, colliding, causing problems. And in international basketball, they're going to allow a lot of that. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I don't think we have a problem that way. I mean, defensively dealing with, I think on the center position, we're definitely not as strong as Team USA. Like Joel Embiid, I think, Joker's the best in the world at the 5 position. Joel Embiid is probably second. Zach Edey is not on our roster because they didn't want him playing in the Olympics. They wanted him playing with Memphis, like he's playing right now. So we're not going to have the overwhelming size in the center, but we're going to go 5 or 6 guys deep. Kelly Olynyk has been a starter for many, many teams for a long time, and he brings a ton of international experience. And his game actually lends itself better to international play than the NBA. So he'll be a strong starter. And then we've got 3 or 4 guys that are just athletic enough and long enough as defenders. And I think there's a couple of them that are looking for opportunities to have breakout moments and, get that critical dunk over Anthony Davis or make a couple of plays where they go, oh boy, hey, these guys, because a lot of those guys, once you get past 3, 4, 5 on Team Canada, these guys are on NBA rosters, but they probably would like to get a little more love, right? So if they go out there and play great for Canada and go aggressive in attack mode against a team like USA, that's only going to help their stock as a pro after the fact, Yeah. So, and lastly, I'll say Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks is our 3, who, by the way, torched the USA for 39 and hit 8 or 9 3-pointers in that game. So, he's got a great catch and shoot game. Like tough defender, just going to catch and shoot threes. He's not going to try and dribble and do anything cute. So I think we are 1, 2, 3 from a shooting perspective. If you compare Shea Gilgeous, Steph Curry, Jamal Murray, Tyrese Halliburton, and then you have Dylan Brooks, guarding probably someone like Kevin Durant. That would be the 1, 2, 3. Those are comparable guys. Kevin Durant's a beast, but he's also older. And I think Dylan, because he's young and more athletic and stronger, could give him enough of a headache. They're still all incredible players. But so, talking, like I said, there's no question USA is going to be the favorite. All right, let's be clear. But there won't be 1 ounce of fear in the Canadian locker room. And everyone believes they can win. And I believe they can win. But here's the last thing I will tell you about tonight, though. I don't know that either team necessarily feels like they have to win, number one. I also don't think either team is going to play together in such a way to show too much of their hand for the Olympics. So I would expect to see kind of a tryout, feeling out kind of game. You're going to see a lot more time shared. You're going to see guys subbing in and out that maybe wouldn't in a must-win game. Like no one's going to want to play a game like with Canada. Do you want to play Shea Gilgeous-Alexander 36 minutes and take his legs out for, you want to rest and get better, but you also want to let your role players go. So I bet you we're going to see a lot more out of like 4 through 12 than we would in the actual Olympics, which is going to be great because those guys are all fighting for playing time, but also trying to make their mark on the game and be influential in getting a win. So it's going to be a lot of fun either way.
Absolutely. We'll get our first sneak peek tonight as you got Canada Team USA. And like Turcotte said, might not be the exact style you'll see, but you'll definitely get a good test run to see what that's going to kind of shake out to be. Don't go anywhere, though. We'll throw to our last break here. One-on-one, Harrison Arns, Turcotte filling in for the absence of DP. We'll keep it rolling here. Talk to you in just a little bit.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Without a strong IT partner, your business ends up overspending, underperforming, wearing too many hats, complicating your work, and more. Applied Connective Technologies can help with experts in every facet of technology. If it plugs in, powers on, or charges up, they're your people. Imagine being able to call one team for all your technology solutions rather than a village of vendors and providers. For all your needs in managed IT and cybersecurity, phone systems, physical security, infrastructure, and audio or video, head to appliedconnective.com to better your business today. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
You're listening to One-on-One with DP, sponsored by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, wrapping up here, One-on-One with Dave Turcotte. Harrison Arns behind the board at 1040 O Street. Real quick and short segment. I'm going to let Turcotte get out of here as he's getting ready to watch some of his own Summer League live tonight. But to wrap things up here, we could talk about the Chicago Bulls offseason moves, but if I'm being honest here, it's just going to piss me off, so we'll stay away from that one real quick. This move I feel like is underrated. Just give me your thoughts. Chris Paul to the San Antonio Spurs. You pair him with Victor Wembanyama. I mean, to me, that seems just perfect. You're not risking a lot. Chris Paul, he's always the guy that just wants to win. He doesn't care. I couldn't love the move any better. I think that is quietly one of the best pickups of the offseason.
I think this is what it really signals. I think it signals that you pull a trigger like that. It's not an insignificant contract. They basically decided Wemby's ready. I think they've decided that Wemby, they figured out how they want to play with him. They figured out, and I know they'll get other free agents if they need him. But the bottom line is, you pick up a guy like that in the latter part of Chris Paul's career. He's only got a few. They're saying, it's a bet to say that with Chris Paul and his veteran leadership with Wemby, they're going to be at least a play-in game team and maybe a top 6 team. That's what it says. It's really more a statement about Wemby and his readiness to lead a team to the playoffs than anything else. But, I've always been a fan of Chris Paul's game, but Chris Paul by himself doesn't get you anywhere, but he's probably one of the best complementary players. If you've got stars around a guy like that, you're going to win some games because that ball's going to go exactly where it needs to go for there to be the win. So I think it's really, for me, if I'm reading the tea leaves, it's all about, hey, Wemby, and I forget, I don't know who they picked up some other, they just
got
drafted
Barnes as well.
No, but they also just drafted the kid from UConn, right? Castle.
Yeah, they got Castle in there as well.
Yeah. So there's a new young athletic 3-4 that can play and can score. So now you bring in Chris Paul to help teach and mentor him. But they're really saying, Wemby's ready. We've got young players that can play that just need a veteran leadership. And I think they're believing now, they're bringing in Chris Paul because they think they're going to make the playoffs.
I agree with you. I pick one every year, and that's my league pass team. Spend the money. That's going to be fun basketball to watch if you got it available to you. San Antonio Spurs.
Don't go to sleep on Klay Thomas, though, that Orlando deal. Yeah. Because Orlando's playoffs, too. It's going to be fun.
Should be. Exciting NBA offseason as always. And, of course, we got 2024 Olympics coming up as well. Turcotte, appreciate the time. I'll let you get out of here, and we'll do it again next week. Don't go anywhere, though. Up next, Don't Punt Hour with DeMarne Pierce-Nell.
And go Canada.